Today's Wednesday, October 11th, 2017. You're tuned into the Elevator Radio Show. Got a short show for you today, so stay tuned. Here it comes.
Race you to the top.
Kids.
I don't think so.
Not on our watch.
So, who are you?
And why did you stop us?
Because you were going to the escalator, about to get on.
And you didn't even realize you were doing something wrong. We teach riders to be safe and sound.
On elevators and escalators, both up and down.
So we're here to stop kids who are about to ride.
And keep them from boarding with their laces untied.
Step on and off carefully. Never push.
Or you could end up on your tush. Never ever sit on an escalator, face forward, and stand.
Don't touch the sides. Grip the rail with your hand.
Looks like our work here is done.
I'd say that safety's one.
Safety riders are on the way. They safely ride to save the day.
All right. I felt like it was necessary to share that video and the Safety Riders program that is out there for children. Go to eat stuff to do there. So, yeah, I was hoping that today's show would have today's show would be accident-free. We were so close. You had 2 accidents in in China, not Canada, excuse me. I global UK website who seems to only want to show, videos, viral videos, so that they can push advertising to their websites. And but there was one also that happened in California. All of these 3 incidents involved who obviously have parents as well, but it's just important that we all realize and we all understand that as parents, it's our responsibility not to necessarily keep them in a bubble safe, but to do what we can to help educate them, to help keep them safe. Case in point, and I made a note of my post here, is that kids will learn from experience, from their actions. If they burn their hand, they realize they probably won't touch a stove again. If they plug an outlet or plug a cord into an outlet wall that has 2 exposed wires and touch them together, they realize that's not a good idea. I did that. If they attempt to jump off the roof with an umbrella, consequences typically are not favorable. And that is also another way that they realize the lessons that they have learned, which include, umbrellas are not to be used for parachutes. So my point is that the world is not a warm, fuzzy, bunny place where it is safe from our kids. And if you're a parent, just make sure you're doing whatever you can to help teach your kids what's right and wrong, what's safe and what's not safe, and then also keep an eye on them as well. So, one of the accidents involving one of the children was literally somebody on a phone. The parent was on the phone, or the caregiver was on the phone, and then not really paying attention to what was going on. And we live in a society today where we're all doing it, unfortunately. And until things change, I don't see technology changes or something changes. I don't see that ever making a difference, or ever reverting back to the old days where we had to get up off our couch and turn the TV with with an actual. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember that and do that. And we had, I think, 3, 4, maybe 6 or 7 TV channels. The world that we live in is much different. And case in point, auto industry had an article out that literally talked about the fact that the touchscreen technology that they're putting in cars today, most of which were developed like maybe 5-6 years ago. So when they design touchscreens for TV, for cars, when cars are designed, they are typically designed with the idea of years in the future or year in the future, where phones are month-to-month type of technology. So and the reason why they're talking about that was because touchscreens in cars are causing accidents. People are spending more time trying to find stuff on them, and I totally get that. And so what car manufacturers are trying to do is get you to put down your phone somehow, but they're not going to do it with technology that was 2-3 years old. So maybe they'll figure out some way where you can plug your phone in and then it does everything you need it to do. Maybe that'll be the answer someday. But just be safe. Spread the word about safety, and all of us as elevator, escalator industry people need to be advocates of what we're doing. We need to share at those cocktail parties and those barbecues, and those that ask, "Oh, you're in the elevator industry. What do you do?" And then go into the rules, go into what to do, whether if the elevator stalls or stops between landings and the doors don't open, what to do if somebody comes to try to help you get out of an elevator like that. Just stay put, and share the realities of incidents that you've seen so that you can help prevent an accident from happening in the future. And I guarantee your words of wisdom, your experience will definitely be remembered depending on how you share it. So this is not all common sense as many of us care or wish we could believe, and it's all of our responsibilities to do our part to promote safety. And share the ESF. Obviously, I don't want to mean to downplay that whatsoever, but it's a great kids program. It's being utilized, and it is modern, as many members are looking for that to happen. So anyway, it's a rainy Wednesday morning here in Chicago. Rain we very much needed, and but not as much as we needed all at one time. But still good to see, good to have, and hopefully you're enjoying some time with the changing colors, if they are changing on the leaves and the trees in your neck of the woods, and you're getting a chance to kind of just rest and recuperate. So that's pretty much all the chat I have to share. So we will cover the show links of the past week next. And and just one real quick note. I want to let everybody know that I'm thinking about bringing back the email hotline. I know I get a lot of comments and a lot of emails from people who want to share but don't want it, listed online. I'm trying to figure out a way of doing this in a way that's anonymous, so you don't necessarily have to share who you are, which would protect both of us in the sense of if you want to share an article or a story or something like that. I've had it in the past where people have sent me information that they've wanted me to share, been happy to share it, and then simply say this is from Homer Simpson, which may not be a reliable source, obviously, but I'm trying to figure out a way of doing this so that it's easy to manage, and it's also protecting everybody in terms of protecting sources. I believe I would be protected if there's any information that needs to be shared or you feel is important to be shared. And I'd be happy to do that. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that in a way that doesn't become difficult for anybody. So I'll have more on that to report, and because it was always fun to share the emails from people that had written in and stuff like that. And I'm still getting them. It's just difficult to stay up on top of those. So just some food for thought. So up next, we'll cover the news and have you out of here in no time.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, had a great time at the CEA meeting last week. Amanda Smith came in and talked about the transportation management program, which is very interesting. Seems to be a pretty viable program to educate anybody who's in the industry or is coming into the industry more on what they're all about. I'm still learning every day, thank goodness, and I will continue to be like that until I'm pushing daisies up. But when I joined, I think I flew to Denver and took a class through ASME, which was, I think, Elevators 101 or something like that, and I thought it was great, a lot of fun. Zach McCain taught that along with Mr. Seymour. Don't know if it was Bill Seymour or I think it was Bill. Anyway, but it was a great class. Learned a lot. But the reality is that was my introduction to it, other than working in the shop for a few years during the summers in high school. So this program is pretty cool in the sense that it's all encompassing, and it does give a pretty good. It seems to look like it gives a pretty good program outline for anybody in a contracting office, also anybody for that matter. So we're going to have, I think, somebody in our office attend that, and you don't have to do the whole thing. So you don't necessarily need to get a certificate in this program, but they do have different modules and opportunities to learn about project management, financial stuff, running a business, and what else? Well, elevators in general, like the technical side. So I think it's pretty cool, and it's very reasonable in cost. And I encourage you to check that out. That's on the NAC.org website. Next news article, GeekWire reporting, end of long ride, Seattle's historic Smith Tower to automate elevators after 103 years of manual operation. Kind of sad. Hamilton Beale has operated the elevator to Smith Tower since 1999. He's leaving Seattle and moving back to the East Coast after automation takes over his job. Love how he's dressed, and for those of you who did not know, the elevator, and this is your piece of tidbit, and I've shared this in the past before, the elevator and the elevator operator literally was the most connected person in the building. He was the one that knew who was on each floor, if you know, who didn't belong on a floor, what was going on in the building, in a company, and these men and women literally were security guard, were informant, and I just give my hats off to these guys and gals who were elevator operators in the last 100 years, and it's sad to see this actually being taken over. There are locations, I know one in Chicago that actually kept the elevator operator part and then made it automatic. So they had a nice balance of both. If they wanted to have a manual elevator operator, you could do it. If they run on automatic, they could do that as well. So I think it's pretty cool. Elevator cowboys is what I think somebody called them. Okay, next news article. NBC Channel 6 has a video of a woman kicking a small little dog in an elevator. And if you are having a bad day, or you feel the need to kick something or pound on something that is much smaller or tinier than you are, then you have major problems. I hope this person is fined. I hope they spend some jail time. But the reality is that cameras are everywhere, so be careful of what you're doing and what you're doing it to. And just don't do stuff like this. Just awful. I don't know what person feels like they need to or have to do something like this to feel better about themselves. I don't know. It's terrible. Okay, Wall Street Journal has a article talking about United Technologies hires Judy Marks to lead Otis Elevator Manufacturing Division. Welcome, Judy, to the elevator industry. So I cannot read the rest of the article, and I'm not going to pay for it. So I think that's probably it. Elevator World will probably have a blurb in there as well about that. So welcome. Good luck in your endeavors. Okay, for the people in Saudi Arabia or any oil tycoon or king. This is a Saudi king. Apparently he was mocked after golden escalator breaks down as he has to walk down it. That's too bad. Can you imagine having so much money that you want everything in gold? You know, I don't know if it's pure gold or if it's just golden, but yeah, must be nice, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how people go through life just worrying about stuff like this, or just thinking like, what else can I have in gold? You know, gold car, gold everything. I don't know. It's kind of silly. Okay, next news article doesn't relate to elevators, but I did want to share it. KVRR local news website has an article. This was in Minnesota. Apparently, a accidental death fatality occurred in Tenney and Minnesota, apparently at an elevator co-op, and that's why I kind of pulled up in my news aggregator, fell off of a platform 150 feet last Thursday and fell to his death. So again, I'm sure there will be, an investigation by OSHA in the local state to find out exactly what happened. It sounds as if, obviously the proper protective gear may or may not have been used or was installed, or whatever should have been in place to avoid an accident like this from happening was not there. So obviously a terrible tragedy, and just make sure that this is secured properly as well. That's really important. I can't tell you how crazy my kids drove me or I see kids around the neighborhood riding like that. Your helmet does you no good if it flies off your head as you go flipping over a car. But this is kind of stupid stuff you see. Okay, next news article, dailymail.com, and this is to drive viral traffic to, to Escalator Chinese shopping center after the girl, I presume, was in the escalator, and I don't know what happened. I mean, in the stroller, excuse me, not in the escalator, and fell out the front. But the video, you imagine a toddler falling out of the front of a stroller down an escalator while it's moving, and it sounds horrific. And it's the first time I've actually seen something like that. Not to say it hasn't happened in the past. Next news article. So the moral is never take a stroller on an escalator. The reality is that even if strapped in, there's a good chance. Why am I getting these Gold Rush things? Gold Rush and Discovery Channel. I don't care. Anyway, so yeah, do not use the elevator. How about that? Okay, next news article here. This is the toddler injured after getting hand stuck in Mission Viejo Mall escalator. Again, malls are areas where parents let their kids run free, like it's an amusement park. And I know because I did it. And just be careful. So thank God the father used the emergency shut-off button at the top of the elevator or bottom to stop it. And just terrifying. Anytime the first responders have to be called to help in an extraction, it's just not good. So, yeah, not good at all. So, thank goodness the father knew what he was supposed to be doing, and hopefully the toddler will be okay. Next news article. I'm not sure. Oh, this is Elevator World Unplugged. This is called "Riding into the Future on a Moving Walkway." So I call it riding into future on, this is the future of laziness. So they talk about, it's an interesting article where a new mindset would be changed based on personal automobiles driving themselves and installing automatic or moving walkways, throughout cities and worlds and stuff like this. The reality is that, my goodness, if we start to see these things popping up on city side streets, I don't think that's a good idea for health reasons, nor do I think it's a good reason for for protecting the general riding public. I don't think we need a whole bunch of these things around to worry about maintaining an outdoor environment. And then also people getting possibly hurt on them or screwing around on them. But it's interesting. It reminds me of the TV the movie with Eva, where we destroy our planet because we've just destroyed it and it's not inhabitable. So there's a ship that's out there, and all these big fat people are on chairs that take them all around the ship, and they don't do anything and exercise. And I don't know. I just hope we don't get to that. I don't think we will in my lifetime, but still. In the last news article of the show, toddler gets hand jammed in escalator. This is another video from thedailymail.com in the UK. And let's see here. Yeah, two-year-old boy was playing at the bottom of the escalators in East China. The youngster got his hand trapped in between the gap in the stairs and the rolling belt. Police arrived at the scene shortly after removing his hand in underneath. So look at the video of what this guy's doing, this kid. And then his mom's just sitting there, or dad, or whoever that is, on the phone. I mean, come on. I swear, if we have to encapsulate all these things or hermetically seal them, maybe that's the next step. If we can't avoid stupid people from understanding that moving things are not necessarily good, you got to be careful of them. Should be common sense, but it's not. I think the parenting style back 20, 30 years ago was a lot different. I don't know if it was any better, but a lot different than what it is today. I'm just a little frustrated. So anyway, so again, get over to EESF.com. I'm going to type that in real quick here, show you some of the stuff we got going on. I've got a little bit of time. So ESF has all the safety programs that you might need if you're a child. If you're a child, yeah, or if a parent. The Rise Up Safe Riders Children's Program has the online website, which is safetyriders.org. You can click on that. There's all sorts of cool stuff to do there. If you've got kids or grandkids, please direct them to this. Have them, next time they come over, have them do a whole bunch of stuff. There's an activity sheet you can download. It's right over yonder. And as it's loading up there, there's a front and back side page. There's a word press. You can, not a word press, there's a word search activity unit. Also, there's puzzles you can do. You can, all sorts of cool stuff. There's safety rules. So if you got grandkids, if you got kids, please point them to this direction. And hopefully, there's a trivia. Oh, there we go. That's really loud. A trivia game. You can get an awesome certificate. So parents, please do yourself a favor. Get over and check this out. Please, it's got some great resources here. So... and that's about it. I think that covers everything I wanted to cover today. So, as always, I want to thank you for joining the program today. It's always nice to be talking to you or talking with you or talking at you. And we'll be back next Wednesday for another edition of the Elevator Radio Show, hopefully with a show that does not have any accidents in it. That day, when that day happens, I got to do something for that day, right? We all do. So have a great rest of the week. Wherever you are at, make sure you're taking time to use your vacation and enjoy those fall colors out there. So take care, everybody. We will talk to you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.